Wonderful to be here in Hill House this morning, John, surrounded by so much of your Uncle Frank's work. I wonder, could you tell us a little bit about the house and how Frank came to live here as a very young boy?
Yes, the house would have been bought by my grandfather, Jack Mansfield, I think in 1942, 1943, that kind of period. Frank would have been 10. He would have grown up originally in Blackrock in Cork, and my grandfather used to work in the bank in the South Mall, in the Bank of Ireland there. And I think he wanted his kids, he had 3 kids, and he wanted them to grow up somewhere that wasn't in the city, somewhere that they would have fresh air. And this house was for sale, and he came home from work one day and he told my gran that they're moving to Cobh, they bought a house, and this is where it was. My gran was, she's originally from Castletownbere, O'Neill was her surname, so she had no connection to Cobh, but she liked it here, but she felt it was very, very big and kind of a bit, it would take a lot of management and renovations and all that. So Frank would have lived here from the age of 10, and yeah, he grew up here.
I knew Frank as an artist, but I understand originally he studied architecture in London.
That's correct, yeah. I think he moved there, I would think, like sometime in the 50s, like 55, 56, and he studied architecture, and he had a breakdown when he was in college, I think in second year, and he ended up leaving architecture and going into art college. I think he went to art college in Croydon, and he was in art college for about a year, and he had another breakdown and he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. So he identified as an artist as soon as he was home, and that's what he did every day. I think he was very unlucky in having schizophrenia, because I kind of feel a part of his life was like he probably never became the person who he wanted to be. But what was very encouraging is that art gave him an identity, and it enabled him to travel, to meet people, to paint, and to have a job as such, you know, which is kind of it's kind of admirable, really, the fact that he painted and drew like for 50, 60, like well into his 80s he was still sketching. So it was a lifetime for him, which is great, really. He's left something which is very important, I think.
I'd often call to Frank of a Saturday, and we'd go down to town and we'd have a coffee. And apart from talking about art, which was probably his favourite subject,
yes,
he always brought up classical music. He obviously had a very great fondness for classical music.
Yes, yeah, always, like when we came up, it would always be blaring, and he'd have it on all hours.
And he was a member of the Gramophone Society as well.
That's correct, yeah.
There's a fabulous variety of work. I see portraiture, I see still life, but I also see a lot of places around the country. So he travelled quite a bit. obviously sketching towns, not just
Yes,
locally, but
yeah.
far afield.
I suppose buildings really were his main thing. He would have drawn a lot of Cobh originally. I'd say when he came back from London, I'd say he based himself in Cobh. Would have drawn the Yacht Club an awful lot. Would have drawn Westbourne Place, the cliff at top of the hill, Smallswell. I never knew it was called Smallswell until I saw one of his drawings of it. Top of the hill, a lot. Places like the park up there, he would have painted a lot. And then he would have travelled to Cork City, Patrick's Bridge, painted an awful lot. Painted the South Mall, drew that quite a bit. And then he would have gone further afield. He would have travelled to Dublin an awful lot. He would have gone to places like Cahir, Clonmel, and just all on the bus, on the train, with his easel and his pens, his paintbrushes. I think part of his condition was that he would wander.
Yeah.
But I suppose the art in it gave him a purpose. Possibly in the 60s, possibly when he was living in London or in college, or else not long after. That looks like a bar counter there of some sort. Boats, lovely.
Yeah.
We don't see many boats, even though they were passing by the window. I think that could be Cobh. I'm not sure, but the architecture kind of says it. I don't know where that is. Or is it top of the hill? This here actually is just outside the door.
Yeah.
This here is up, take you up to the Clifton Bar, Cathedral Street it's called, and this here will take you down to the hardware store. So it's just right outside the door. I'd say he painted it from in front of the arches, just looking there.
Look at that.
Don't know where it is. Very nice. Is that Belvelly? Oh, that's Barry's Court Castle, I think.
Right.
Near. I actually think if that's the case, this is possibly Ballinacurra. There's a lot of industrial type buildings there. Farms. And there's water there.
Yeah.
Yes, Ballinacurra.
Wow.
It's very nice. And that's 68. So we weren't bad with the guessing.
Look at the
Yes.
intensity.
That's
Railway station.
Rushbrook railway station, I think. He would have come out to my mum a lot on the train. He's come out to us every Christmas. And Sundays he used to get the train out. I think that's Rushbrook. Another view, beautiful. And this here then, I think is possibly, yeah, that's Rushbrook again. Be nice for my mum to
See these.
yeah, definitely. And there's a detail of the Road Iron Bridge. Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go again. They're fantastic.
It was obviously a fabulous tribute to Frank, the way he exhibited all his work in the house, and I'm sure he would have been just so proud.
Hopefully, yes. It was a very rewarding experience doing that because there was so much work for one, and it, like, just going through it over the decades, you could almost chart where he was, who he was with, what he was thinking almost. And I suppose for me, I realised that his life was a lot fuller and a lot more content than we would have thought, because he was quite private, especially with his family. But yeah, it was a really good. I think people were amazed by the amount and the variety and the quality of it as well. Yeah, it was great. It was a nice thing to do, I think.
It certainly was a fitting tribute to him and his work.
Yeah, I hope to archive it and just keep the memory alive, really, I think would be what we would do.
Sorriso